It is the year 3063, and on a backwater planet, a mercenary outfit is fighting for their very survival. In the northern part of the continent, Battletech has just received word that a large force of unknown enemies is marching on the Cell Metalworks. With the command structure MIA, Staff Sergeant Dalton Weiss takes command, leading Battletech to respond. Racing ahead through the southern entrance, Weiss takes command of the situation and prepares Lambda to exfiltrate with their transports. 3 platoons of infantry are loaded upon Maxim transports, start to make their way out of the city. Thick flood walls surround the city, so they must break out of the northern gate. In the absence of Alpha's leadership, they must, at all costs, break through the enemy lines and reach Renzik spaceport. Their Fortress-class dropship, the North Star, is their only means of leaving this planet. A quartet of Hetzer assault vehicles wheel their way into position at the edge of the city. They lie in wait, ready to catch any units attempting to exit the city limits. Lance Commander Dalton Weiss and his Firefly picks up on the danger. He orders his Lance to deploy behind the cover of the buildings. Escape awaits them on the other side of the city if they could break through this line. The slower heavy and assault mechs follow the Hetzers and soon block off all the exit points and block all the roads. With clear lines of fire down every avenue, this will be a bloody brawl. Maxim transports carrying the infantry of Lambda stack up behind a building and await a chance to make a break for it. The enemy knows they're trapped like fish in a barrel and only have one way to go. Without much indirect fire capabilities, they're going to have to push through the enemy blockade. Advancing in a grim march, the battle mechs of the invaders know that they don't need to go very fast, that the enemy will soon come to them. Battletech leverages the cover of the buildings to get as close to the enemy as possible before they have to engage. The Hetzers, having wheeled into position, are content to wait patiently. Unable to delay any longer, the Maxim transports take off at breakneck speed down the main causeway. The Warrior VTOL flies overhead, giving them some cover. They select their target and prepare to focus their fire to bring down one of these heavy foes. The Awesome is quick on his triggers and fires a trio of PPCs into the transports. One of the transports is struck and bears the full brunt of the attack. The Thunderbolt proves to be even more deadly. He hits the majority of his shots. There's little armor remaining on the stricken Maxim hovercraft. Although nothing critical was hit, things are not looking good. With careful coordination, the returning fire from the transport strips most of the armor off of the Awesome, leaving its structure exposed. Despite this, the Awesome appears to be in perfect working condition. The Warrior-class VTOL misses entirely and does not contribute to this. Accepting the challenge, the Thunderbolt charges forward, giving the Awesome pilot a brief reprieve. The pilot of the Awesome wisely decides that discretion is the better part of valor and falls back. Hearing the gunfire, the Atlas and the catapult quicken their pace. Their current position does not give them a vantage of the ongoing firefight. Attempting to interdict the enemy before they can pop one of the transports, Lance Commander Weiss clears the building, feathering his jump jets to land in a perch upon a short building nearby. Corporals Pitt and Weiss do not like their odds and are recalled to the Lance Commander's side to try and concentrate their forces. Sergeant Asher Lamb and his fleet also moves forward to support the advance. Keeping their momentum, the hovercraft race by, some wheeling to turn and face the weaker rear armor of their opponent. The lead Maxim guns for the injured Awesome, hoping to finish it and create a space for the rest of the force to break through to safety. The Hetzers, however, have other plans. They spring the trap, jumping into point-blank range to unleash their mighty autocannons. Seizing his own opportunity, the Awesome pilot is perfectly positioned to drill 3 PPCs into the rear arc of one of the Maxims. Shots boil armor plates off the transport, but nothing critical was damaged. With the scout Mexa Beta crossing the open field, the Atlas loses its entire payload on the Locust as it tries to cross the open ground. The Locust suffers only a glancing blow from the Atlas's weaponry, but armor plates are sent careening into the open field. The catapult also unleashes its PPCs, and in a flash, the Locust is gone. Corporal Weiss has but a moment to scream before the comms are cut short. Enraged, Sergeant Lamb unleashes his full complement onto the Thunderbolt, but it does little damage to the stocky mech. In battle, there's no time to mourn, and Lance Commander Weiss unleashes his full complement on the Thunderbolt as well. Coordinating their fire, the Maxims follow suit. The weak rear armor of the Thunderbolt crumples under the assault from the heavily armed transports. The Hetzer's own volleys take out one of the Maxim hovercraft. An entire platoon of infantry are vaporized in an instant as the Maxim explodes. Luckily, the remaining Hetzers do little damage to the other Maxim transports, merely hitting them with glancing blows from their massive autocannons. The lead Maxim ignores the Hetzers, gunning for the already damaged Awesome. His shots break through the armor, shattering internal components. This will affect the Awesome's ability to move, slowing the already considerably slow assault mech. Now desperate to salvage the situation, the Lance Commander orders the remaining armor to move at maximum speed and escape the enemy. Darting through back alleys, they make their escape. The Warrior-class VTOL follows suit, providing air cover for their egress. And Commander Ian Schmidt decides to sell his life, knowing that his slower tank will never be able to make it outside of the city. He orders his crew to trundle forward and engages. Its heavy SRM batteries do considerable damage. Beta Commander Weiss orders his mechs to try and break through in a last-ditch effort to clear the city limits, and they break into a sprint. The Atlas appears to be their leader, and he pushes his slow assault mech forward into the city square. They attempt to catch some of the fleeing mechs of Beta Lance. With his motive systems damaged, the Awesome pilot is unable to get his mech to round the corner fast enough. The Hetzers whirl around, hoping to catch their enemies in the back as they run. Cornered now and desperate, Lance Commander Weiss triggers his weapons for a final time against the Awesome. He scores a critical hit on the engine, further crippling the mech's ability to move. The Awesome returns fire, clipping the lighter mech. The Catapult K2, confident in their victory, unleashes its fury on Tank Commander Schmidt's vehicle at point-blank range, but the heavy armor weathers the blow. Corporal Pitt, caught by a full barrage from the pair of Hetzers at his rear, goes down hard. The Atlas follows up with a salvo of its own, ensuring that he never makes it to safety. So too is Sergeant Lamb and his flea, also gunned down, never to see another battle. With the screams of the dying echoing over his communicator, Staff Sergeant Weiss cuts his comm link. Tank Commander Schmidt's battle cries are cut short. The Lance Commander knows what that means as well. A mighty barrage of SRMs fails to take down the catapult, despite ripping much of the armor from its carriage. Tank Commander Schmidt is encircled now, so he backs up, trying to protect his flank with the building. Hopes that his armor can hold out, at least long enough to take one of these bastards down with him. Smelling blood in the water, the invaders close in on the remaining targets. Beta Lance's commander shoots his jets, leaping to the top of a nearby building and out of sight, preventing the killing blow from falling. Schmidt's crew give it their all, loosing volley after volley of SRMs into their foe, but it does not save them. They too boil alive under the combined weight of fire as the heavy mechs ruthlessly burn the tank to the ground. In a spray of armor splinters, the tank detonates, erupting into thick flame and smoke, sending debris cartwheeling over the rooftops. No ejection pods can be seen. The image of that scene burned upon his memory. Staff Sergeant Weiss turns his Firefly away. Beta Lance was broken. Lambda gutted. The survivors fled, praying for their equipment to hold, to not suffer a failure, as their mounts carried them from the field. Lance Commander Weiss attempted to reach Alpha Lance again, but to no avail. Something was blocking their long-range communications. Even Omega and Theta Lances were unresponsive. Forensic Spaceport was their last shot off this planet. Surely this enemy had not taken the Fortress-class dropship, the home of Polaris Solutions, from the mighty grip of Alpha Lance, had they? With no way of knowing what awaited their battered forces at the spaceport, both Beta and Lambda carried on at maximum speed, hoping their pursuers would not catch them. What they could not know is that Alpha Lance had already fought a fierce battle, one that the survival of the entire outfit depended on.